To delve deeper into the issues mentioned by the governor, we're joined now by St. John's University political science professor Browne. And Brian, I want to go back to climate change. Governor Hochul mentioned Hurricane Ida, which hit the Diocese of Brooklyn really hard. She talked about phasing out our reliance on fossil fuels. Is this what Pope Francis had in mind in Laudato Si?
Absolutely. And it's also an issue that kind of transcends Democrats and Republicans. We're all impacted by the climate, particularly here in New York and downstate New York City, where we've had some fatalities as a result of these torrential storms. So a good issue to raise, and it's a good issue that could garner bipartisan support in the New York State legislature.
She also announced an idea to create a new rail service that will connect Brooklyn and Queens, and referred to the infrastructure issues in New York City as a quality of life issue. Let's listen in.
We need to reconnect neighborhoods that were severed by asphalt highways, disproportionately impacting communities of color. We're going to reverse the damage that was done more than half a century ago.
So what do you think about this proposal? Is it reasonable? It seems like by the time all of this gets done, she may not be in the office anymore.
Well, that's absolutely correct. And we've seen long-term infrastructure projects here in New York State go on, some for a century. So anything that's going to help ease transportation or increase transportation options, particularly in downstate where there's a lot of voters that she's going to need as she runs for a full term of office as governor of New York.
She also got a little personal. She talked about her own family immigrating from Ireland and what New York means to immigrants and refugees.
The time has come for a new American dream, a better, fairer, more inclusive version that I call the New York dream.
But she didn't really dig deep into immigration in New York State. Why do you think that is?
Well, immigration policy is largely set at the federal level, and she spent a brief time in Congress earlier in her political career. But I think really that is a nod also to, again, I don't want to keep inserting the politics of it, but she's running in a primary. She's a challenger on her left as well as on her right. So any sort of nod to our immigrant roots, particularly here in New York City, is going to play well with Democratic primary voters.
All right. She also talked about restoring faith in government, implementing a term limit, and proposing a ban on outside income for elected officials. So her predecessor, Andrew Cuomo's book deal, comes to mind. Do you think she was taking a direct dig at the former governor?
Well, if it wasn't direct, it was certainly indirect. But it's part of what we've seen in her short time in office is she really wants to separate herself from the Cuomo legacy. And she did that very effectively today, even bringing the speech back to the ornate New York State Legislative Chamber, where it was held for many, many years before Andrew Cuomo. But yeah, she is trying to separate herself from her predecessor. Again, like a big infrastructure project, this term limit change, if it were to come to pass, would take years to happen, 2 consecutive legislatures and a vote of the people here in New York State. But it does demonstrate a bigger message, which is, I'm not Andrew Cuomo. I'm the new person in town. Here I am. And it was well played.
Yep, she absolutely sold that one. Browne, St. John's University political science professor. Always a joy to talk to you.
Good to see you.
Hi, I'm Christine Persichetti, anchor of Currents News. If you like what you saw, please hit the like button on this video. And if you want to see more content just like it, subscribe and click on the bell for notifications. Thanks for watching, because we are putting your faith in the news.